Well, happy Thursday. February 2nd, 2023, Groundhog Day. And apparently, Junksatani Phil saw his shadow. 6 more weeks of winter, blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever. And it's, I don't know, silly. I couldn't believe all the people. Early in the morning, dark out, they're all lined up. And they got their top hats on. They're pulling out this big rodent. And, you know, reading a script that says, I don't know, had a little jingle, had a little rhyme. They should use ChatGPT, the AI thing, to write that poem. Might be better off. I think it's GPT. Anyway, I don't know if anybody's seen any of that. I want to get into that a little bit. But first, the economy. Well, actually, first, if you don't listen, if you're on Twitter and you don't listen to the spaces that are out there, they're like an open forum where people can talk. There's a good one. Litecoin Underground hosts every Wednesday night, and it's at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's live. You can speak. You can offer input, and there's a lot of good, a good discussion of what's going on in crypto with that particular chat. But I mean, in spaces on Twitter, you've got Elon Musk in there talking. You've got big players who are part of CEOs of corporations in Twitter spaces, and you can actually hear them in real time. It's a great place to get truth or get reality from people, get the raw emotion from people. Let me zone in on the right language. Cliff High is smacking me through the video here. So it's really a great place to get some good information, and as it's happening. So you should check that out. Check out Twitter Spaces if you're into Litecoin and knowing what Litecoin is, the technology that's being built on it. Twitter Spaces, Litecoin Underground. It's a good one. LTC Underground. You should follow him and jump in on the spaces. And I mean, you raise your hand, you can talk, ask a question. Anyway, big things in Litecoin. Crazy. That's why it hit 3 digits, I guess. It's back to around $100 and went a little over $100. Now it's like 99 something, doesn't matter. It's going to consolidate a little bit and then launch again, probably next week. But anyway, I'm going to stay conservative and say it's still $240 by June 17th, which looks like it's right on track for that. And there's a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people out there saying it's going to be 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. Someday it will be. When that day will be, I don't know. The market has a way of surprising people. So we'll see what happens. Whatever you think is going to happen probably is not going to happen. All right, I want to talk about the AI stuff a little bit. Artificial intelligence, it's called. Okay, it's a little bit of a misnomer, a little bit of a mislabel, because right now, what we see anyway, can't really say it's artificial intelligence, because I think intelligence implies some critical thinking, some nuances that are, it's not just, hey, that person is a great, smart person. I shouldn't say that. That person can regurgitate information. It's like a walking library. Okay, that's one thing. But here's a good example. There was a study taken. There's like 8 soldiers. And there was this AI system, warrior, whatever it was. I don't know if it was a dog or whatever, an AI machine. And what it did, it was like a game of tag. And the soldiers had to, come from, I don't know, 100 yards away, 300 yards away, whatever it was. They had a starting point. They each had a starting point. And they had to tag this thing without being killed by the AI robot. Well, they all succeeded, apparently, in this study, because one would put a shrubbery, some bushes in front of him and walked up to the thing, and it didn't compute that it was a human, so it's like, okay, that's not my target. Yeah, that's a bush. Well, it's a moving bush, so it didn't have the discernment level to determine, okay, wait a minute, a moving bush is not possible. So that's intelligence. I mean, you've got experience with life, you've got instincts, and you've got these intangible things that they want to make tangible in a computer. I don't want to get too far off on this. So anyway, these soldiers, they all managed to trick the AI system, the robot, into thinking that, oh, those aren't humans, that's not my target. Okay, they did it in a variety of ways, and that was just one of them. So it just goes to show that right now the state of AI is nothing more than a computer with information, has access to a library of information, and can make connections based on the programming. Now, can it become at some point more sentient, like a human, to where there are nuances that it picks up on? Can it pick up on sarcasm? I guess that's one thing. Will it understand sarcasm? Because we have human beings right now who can't understand sarcasm. Is a machine going to be able to understand it? It's a good question. Don't know. It's only as good as its programming. Or at some point, does something happen to where it can then start thinking for itself and reprogram itself based on information and circumstances and learn? I mean, that's the key. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know if it... I know you cannot 100% replicate a human being and what a human being feels, the instincts, the mistakes that we make, because AI would not make mistakes, or a machine, a robot that's programmed shouldn't make mistakes. It should learn. And it's like like they do in the chess, Gary Kasparov, gets beaten by a machine, computer. As long as there are steps that can be played out and computated, then the machine can win. But what happens when unforeseen things happen? That it's like, okay, I don't know what to do in that circumstance. I see a dog with 3 legs. What is that? Is it a dog? What is that thing? And so, but it can learn. It can say, okay, now we need to define characteristics of the dog more. Okay, it's got this look, that look, and it puts it all together. And the more it's programmed to, here's a mess, had the stocking cap on. The more it's programmed, I guess, to react to those scenarios, the more smart it can appear, the more intelligent it can appear. But is it really intelligent? Don't know. However, will it matter? Will it get to a point where the machines can make decisions to such a level to where they can be controlled by the powers that be to do whatever they want? And so they can convince us that, oh, these are artificially intelligent. We should listen to these. And I'm seeing this a lot, and it kind of pisses me off. Shouldn't say this. I shouldn't get so upset. So what I'm seeing is this ChatGPT, I think it's called. It's an AI thing where you can type in, write me a poem about Joe Biden. And it writes a poem about Joe Biden. Write me a poem about Donald Trump. And then it says, well, we can't write poems about, political figures. And it's like, wait a minute. So it's already skewed, the programming, to where it leans one side versus the other. So anyway, you can ask it questions, and I don't know, there's a website to where you can go out there and you can type in responses, and it'll write you a term paper based on, this characteristics of this person in this novel. Write me a screenplay about and it does it in a few seconds. I mean, so there are applications that this thing is going to put people out of work. There was one to where it says, somebody put in, create a female that embodies each country. There's probably more details. And so what it does, it accumulates all this library of information very quickly, because computers can compute fast, and boom, and creates this artwork, this image of America, this image of Sweden, this image of Mexico, and it's in a form of a female, beautiful female, with the different characteristics of that native culture, as it can be interpreted based on the information it's given. And it's pretty damn amazing. I mean, I have to admit, it really is. It's crazy what it can do. But what it's doing is accumulating all this experience, that's in literature, that it has access to, these libraries of information, and it can do it in split seconds and in milliseconds, takes it all. So it's pretty amazing stuff. However, is that going to become artificially intelligent? Is that intelligence? No, it's more of a database that it makes connections to. So, but we are going to be lured into that, just like we were lured into using smartphones. Oh my gosh, the smartphone's so wonderful. Now everybody's like this. I see people walking down the street and they're doing this. Not even walking where they're going. They're doing this or watching a video. And that's that's kind of the gateway drug. So it got us into using that and doing everything on it. Hey, you can do banking on it. You know, you can send payments back and forth. And, you know, with crypto, if you don't have a smartphone, it makes it very difficult. You can do it on a computer, but very inconvenient. So that smartphone, you know, you've got access to everything, all the information. And we can look all this stuff up and write the term paper and do all that, but look how long it takes us because we're not plugged in like the AI. Well, then you have Neuralink come along. This thing that Elon Musk is delving into, and this Neuralink is an implant that goes in your head. Okay, what if that thing, you know, it's supposed to help people, like if you're paralyzed, maybe it stimulates, you know, and helps all kinds of medical applications. But look at the darker side of it. What if it can then attach into the libraries of digital information that are out there? Well, that'd be such a great thing, wouldn't it? That would allow us to, you know, access all this information so much more quickly. Just like I don't have to go to a library right now. When I was in school, do a term paper, go to the library, look up, oh, we don't have it here. Oh, go to the interlibrary loan system. That library has it. So we wait for that book to show up so I can do some research, write a paper. Now most of it's online, you know, so you can actually stay at home and go to college and write a term paper and access all these sources and cite them. So it's come a long way in the, 30 years since I've been in college. 30 years, is that right? Yeah. That's insane. Anyway, shows how old I am. So now, if you have this thing in your head, they tried it with Google Glass. You know, you could like see things and the glasses and see things. Yeah, it didn't work out so well. But what if it's implanted in you and it's like controlling your brain and connecting? And what if they use your DNA, which can hold terabytes, you know, just unlimited amounts of information. They store information on there. Hey, your private key to your crypto's on your DNA. Hey, you know, we need to store all this information on the DNA for easy access when you're offline for whatever reason. You know, all your information stored on your DNA. I mean, this stuff is possible. This is stuff they want to do. And getting lured into it, getting eased into it. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but getting eased into it and, hey, the metaverse, it's really cool. You know, so you've got reality. And so let's remake reality and charge for it. As if they don't charge for everything now, you know, pay your property tax, they come take your property, which is ridiculous. But in the metaverse, it'll be, hey, I own this. You know, my daughter plays Roblox. I need some Robux so she can buy stuff in the game. She can armor up and, you know, change her hair or whatever it is. And all these games are like this. World of Warcraft, same thing. I mean, you know, all these games, you can buy digital assets inside the game. So digital money is going to be important. That's kind of a no-brainer. You know, you need digital money. And instead of using your credit card through Apple and then we buy it, you know, and it's just like, what? The Apple Store. Instead, you could have, you know, a little bit of Litecoin, a little bit of DigiByte, a little bit of whatever crypto inside the game, and that's your wallet, and you can send it right in there, QR code it in, bing, bing, and then buy your armor, hair, or whatever. Should be able to do that. That day is coming. But let's say it's full-blown metaverse, because these games, these role-playing games, are metaverse-type games. What happens when you're wearing the goggles and you're in it, and, you know, you're first person, and you can, you know, engage in the game? You can do that. You'll be able to do that. They'll sell it to you as, you don't even have to go to college now. You can sit there in the auditorium with your goggles on and you can, it's like you're there and you can raise your hand and they will see you, the professor who's teaching, and he's sitting in his house. But it looks like you're in the auditorium all together and you see each other. And then you've got an avatar. It's so cool because you can change your skins. Hey, somebody develops this new thing. Hey, I want to buy that. Here's a little bit of Litecoin. And so you're remasking yourself. And don't think that people aren't going to do that. So because you're going to present yourself another way. Hey, I'm fat and out of shape and I'm sitting around eating, but you know what? I'm going to be some buff, 220 pound, you know, 6'2" guy. That's my avatar when I'm going to college. I got a lot of hair, you know, more hair than Trump. And so you're going to have this perception of reality wherever you go in this metaverse. Hey, I'm going to Walmart. You're going to go shopping at Walmart, you know, from your home. You got your metaverse goggles on. Go down to the, it's just like you're there, and you pull it on and put it in the cart. You know, you say exit and it walks out, and then somebody delivers it. But it's like you went shopping. You could see everything on the shelf. Ooh, look at those eggs. Get the price of the eggs. Oh, these are cheaper. Okay. Let me go to another store. Flip out of that. Go to the other store. Yeah, Aldi's got them cheaper. All right, cool. Well, I'll put that in the Aldi basket. Go back to Walmart. It's like you're not traveling around anymore. You're just virtually going to these places, this metaverse. You don't have to leave your house. It becomes a WALL-E world where you're just sitting around having things delivered, you know, not exercising, not going and doing anything. Everything's just automated. But you got to wear the goggles, kind of inconvenient, you know. Well, then we get this Neuralink thing. Put that in your head, and all the perceptions are there. And wow, it's like, this is so cool. I can turn this on anytime I want or turn it off anytime I want. Well, then maybe somebody else can do it too. Maybe somebody can turn it on or off. Maybe somebody can skew your reality and present you with different things that weren't there or aren't there. There's a Black Mirror episode where there's soldiers and they go out and kill, I think they call them the roaches or the bugs. And when they see these bugs, they're shaped like a human, but they have a roach face, and, you know, they're just ugly, and they're like shooting them down. Ah, roaches, ah! Until one guy breaks out of it. His Neuralink fell out. And then he's like, oh my God, these are actually human beings. You know, they look just like us. But, you know, as long as they wear the equipment and have the implant, they look like roaches. And so when you're following orders and they're telling you this is the bad guy, instead of them being in a different uniform and still looking human, so you're actually killing a human, no, they look like roaches now. It's because your mind is perceiving it as, oh, these are ugly, nasty, zombie-like things. I'm going to kill them. Until you break free, and then you realize, oh crap, I've been killing people. When you go down that road, where does it end? And who has control of it? Because, see, with digital technology, somebody can control it because it's all programming. And we're in real life programmed, and we're deprogramming ourselves right now. But it's easier to break out of that matrix. It's hard. It really is, because a lot of people aren't waking up. They went through a pandemic, and they still don't get it. People are dropping dead. They still don't get it. Well, how did this happen? Why am I having pericarditis and myocarditis? I have no idea. No idea. I just, you know, it doesn't make sense. A news anchor, just the other day, I run 7 miles a day. I'm in great shape. I hardly drink. I don't smoke. Why do I have heart problems? Put it together at some point. Or maybe you don't. It's too late. You know, and that's, you know, end of game over. Insert more coins. But that is how they'll sell you on it. Hey, you know, we can solve all these health problems. You know, at some point, we'll just take your consciousness and we'll download it, and then we'll just put it in a mainframe computer. Another Black Mirror episode. I don't even know what it's called, to where you can, instead of dying, you take your consciousness and plug it in here, and you go to this beach town, and that's where you live, and you can do whatever you want. And it's like you're there, you know, you live on forever, as long as the power doesn't go out at the big computer warehouse with all the lights flashing. And I mean, I think people at some point are going to say, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I don't want to die. You know, my body's wearing out. I want to go on, but I don't want to go on in this state. Okay, well, you know, you've got this many Litecoin, this many Bitcoin, and that's what it's going to take. So you're like, okay, I'll do it. And you persist onward and forever in this digital world, this metaverse, where your consciousness lives and interacts. The problem is you're a slave. You're a digital slave. You know, if those computers turn off, if the company that's running it goes bankrupt, if the government that's running it folds in real life, what happens? Oh, that's it. It just goes dark. There are some really interesting now we've got you know, it was kind of a spoof, but I mean, Reality imitates art. Art imitates reality. This Echo Life, I think it was called, where you've got these babies in incubators, and you can choose your own baby. And it was kind of sarcastic, but they're rolling this out. All of the stuff that we see is foreshadowing. They're foreshadowing everything that they're going to do. And ultimately, they want you as a pod person in the Matrix. If you watch the Matrix movies, it's like you're participating in this stuff. You think it's reality, but you're actually hooked up to some sort of life support pod that they're just keeping you alive, using your energy, vampiring you. But you get in your mind, well, the thing is, you can do that now. We live in a magical metaverse. We are in a game, a simulation right now. We were born into this flesh. This is your avatar. You can do it for real. Why do you want to imprison yourself in a matrix within a matrix? There are consequences to all these actions. Might not know what they are yet, but you can get a glimpse. You just go out there and watch stuff. There was another movie called Her, I think it was. It was with Joaquin Phoenix. And I can't remember. Scarlett Johansson might have been the voice. And so he interacts with this AI thing, this voice. And she's got this beautiful voice. And, and he kind of falls in love with her. And because, she tells him everything and just gives great advice and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it turns out later on, I don't want to spoil it, but, he's one of 1,000 people that she's simultaneously communicating with because it's just computer programming. And his perception is, wow, she's a real person. I mean, she's in my life and I depend on her. I want to wake up, and hear her voice and have discussions with her. Well, she's having multiple discussions at the same time because it's just a computer. But he perceives that as being real, and it changes him for real. Changes his hormones, chemicals, all that stuff. See, we can do that in real life now. We've got this magical thing, this body, the spirit that we have. And we can make perception reality. We can perceive to have a good day, and so we have a good attitude. And other people see it, and they're like, oh, wow, that guy opened the door for me. Holy cow. He left a big tip. That was awesome. That really made my day. So, or you can be a real jerk. Just be very angry and grumpy, and people are like, God, I hate my job. I got these idiots that come in, jerks. And so you can change the world at a small level, but that butterflies out. It's like you go into the darkness. What does it take to expose, the darkness? One match. Just one light, and it diffuses out. Look how much of the darkness it conquers. Just one little match. You can be that match, be that light. Now, they want to enslave us in a digital system because they do not want us physically resisting. They do not want us to use our energy, our real energy that we have, to stop what they're doing. No, they're all weak. They're all sissies. Look at them. Look at the people leading. Look at the World Economic Forum. Look at the presidents. Look at these people. Look at these world leaders. They're a bunch of pansies. They really are. And they have no fight in them. They want to dominate you psychologically through fear. That's what they are. Just think of it. They're all university professors, and they want to just do nothing but indoctrinate you and control your mind because they can't control you physically. They can't. That's why they hate the Second Amendment, too. But in the metaverse, just turn your gun off. Got to think about what's coming. It's very important that we maintain our humanity, who we are, who you are. Don't get sucked into this. See, I have a hard time, just with the phone, thinking about, okay, the consequence. It's a black mirror. What are black mirrors? You scrying in it? What did people use to use a black mirror for? We're looking into these black mirrors every day with these phones. What is that doing? What are we communicating with, really? And who's watching you from the other side? I think we all know they're watching you all the time. And that's a scary thing. But, you say, whatever. But it is a You got to realize that. And if you think that's nuts, then you're not at the right place in life. You know, you got a little bit of learning to do. You got to get further along and realize where this is all going and why it's happening the way it is. The end game is, it's not good. It's a very bad situation to where you've just been vampired. They've taken your soul, taken your spirit. That's why it's so important to trust yourself. If it doesn't feel right, you shouldn't be doing it. I've told this story before. I need to wrap this up, but I've told the story before. Back in 2019 for the Litecoin Summit, I went to Las Vegas and, you know, spent, I don't know, 3-4 days there. And it was not a good experience. I did not like the energy. It felt, and a lot of people love Vegas. They love it. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. At a deep level, just didn't like it. And it physically affected me. I mean, it really did. I wanted to have fun and enjoy it, but I couldn't. I mean, I felt like there was just a physical drain on me, just pulling the life out of me. Honestly felt it. And it took me probably 6 months to recover from that. I mean, whatever happened there, I was not prepared for. It was just an overwhelmingly, oppressively dark, not good feeling. And it took some life out of me. It really did. I mean, for 6 months after that, I just, you know, it didn't feel right in my gut. Just didn't feel right anywhere. Just felt disturbed, a little distorted, unsettled, I guess is the word. Then I got over it. It's not a good place for me. There are places like that. I mean, there's spiritual energy out there, and it does affect you. I mean, again, it's just like somebody walking in and being a jerk at a fast food restaurant. And then that person on the other side of the counter is like, man, I hate my job. This really sucks. People like that just, You've changed the course of their day through the energy, and then vice versa. Or I should say, conversely, someone comes in, is very polite, says, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And you put somebody, you did a great job. Really appreciate you. And if you say that to somebody, it puts them in a great day. Tell the manager, hey, this is a great employee. You got a good one. And it's just, and you change the course like that. So don't think that those kind of things don't happen at a bigger level. If you got a lot of dark energy around, why do you think witches get together and have a coven and, you know, they practice ceremonies? And why do you think you go to church, you know, and you bring people together? You're trying to resonate at a certain frequency. These things are real. And the bad guys know it. And they know how to manipulate you. And they know how to fear you into doing things. So to wrap this up, that's why it's so important to trust yourself. Sometimes you need to step away. You need to get out of those environments. You need to get, that's why I'm happy where I'm at. I have very few distractions. Watch stuff grow, left alone, take the dogs out, you know, put my bare feet on the ground. It's important to reconnect with nature. I mean, that's a direct conduit to God. That's God's artwork, nature. It's important. So, trust yourself. Look inward. All the answers are there. Older I get, the more I look inward for answers rather than outward. All right, there's a reason for that. All right. Love y'all. Go Litecoin. Let's check some freedom boxes off. DigiByte, moving well. Let's use these tools, these economic weapons to check off our freedom boxes so that we can just say, I'm out. Opt out. I'm out. Walking away. Not participating in this vampire casino anymore. Not gonna do it. That's where we gotta be. Let's create our own reality. Let's not let them tell us what reality is. We can manifest it. We can make it happen. So let's do it. Trust yourself and go out and do it. All right. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday. See you tomorrow. It's Happy Hour Friday.